asked me to cover safety, thought it would be a great idea to tell some stories, talk about specific oils, exactly how to use them, spend some time myth busting, answer some common questions, and oh, by the way, she said, you have 20 minutes. I'm thinking, sure, and no problem. Of course I told her, that would be perfect. Then she asked me if I had a title, and keep in mind this is like 5 minutes after I found out I was speaking at convention, and my heart's still racing, I can't reach my balance because I'm driving, so I told her I would have to kind of think about it and get back to her. So here we are today, talking about coming together for animal care. So 68% of U.S. households, or about 85 million families, own a pet, according to the 2017-2018 National Pet Owner Survey conducted by the American Pet Products Association. In these homes, there are an estimated 94.2 million cats. So where's the cat people? You guys actually win this one. There's more cats. So. 89.7 million dogs, 20 million. That actually makes sense because cat people are just a little more introverted. 20 million birds, 14 million small animals, 9 million reptiles, and 7.6 million horses. Any horse people? Can I get a yeehaw? So they're actually outside, not actually in the home, but you know. And this is just in the United States, y'all. So think of how many more there are globally. If you just go by these statistics, that means that about 2/3 of the people in this room, 2/3 of the people that use doTERRA oils globally or in the United States have animals in their lives. I actually personally think that number might be a little bit higher since doTERRA users have the capacity to love big and therefore open their homes to animals, but that's just my opinion. If there was one thing that I've learned in my lifetime of working with animals and their owners, it's that people love their animals, and they would do anything within their means to keep them healthy and happy as long as possible. Animals have become an integral part of our families, and our lives just wouldn't be the same without them. In fact, having an animal can actually greatly improve human lives as well. There's a lot of studies on this. One study shows that owning a dog can promote cardiovascular health. Another indicates that pets in homes with children can improve immunity and respiratory health. Animals can also decrease stress, and we've been talking a lot about stress these past couple of days at the end of a long day, and it's no wonder we have incorporated them into our lives so closely. It is important to keep our pets in mind as we use essential oils in our home. Dogs and cats in particular have 200 to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to humans' 5 to 6 million. Their sense of smell is sensitive, so when you are diffusing, be sure you have a water-based diffuser like the Pedal or the Lumo, and only diffuse 4 to 5 drops at a time in an open area where your pet can leave the room if desired. So if you have birds or reptiles, just start with 2 to 3 drops and be sure your diffuser is not directly next to their enclosure. It is a little harder to diffuse in a barn situation, but horses, cattle, goats, chickens, and all your barnyard friends can benefit from diffusing essential oils as well. Now, we've learned a lot about how diffusing is a great way to help with the stress in our lives, and also in our animals' lives. In today's world, we hustle and bustle from one thing to the next, running all around town or sometimes all over the world, and our schedule is overflowing. But packing everything into our schedule can leave us feeling tired, unhappy, and stressed out. So we come home to relax. And there she is, your beloved animal, wanting to take away all your stress by just loving you no matter what. It's the most amazing thing in the world to be loved unconditionally by an animal. But she seems to have a hard day. She isn't sure why. The stress you wish you could leave at the door seeps into your home and your animal feels it. I wish the stress of our own lives to not affect our animals, but it does. We're seeing more and more behavioral problems, health problems, emotional problems in our animals because of it. Chronic stress may cause aggression or fear-filled behaviors in one animal, digestive disturbances in another, unexplained weight loss, and a whole host of other things. Long-standing stress may result in serious health problems. So many things that veterinarians see manifested as serious health issues is a result of something that really started out as chronic stress in our animals. And why is that? In short, because stress leads to a compromised immune system. So luckily we have lots of oils that can help decrease the stress in our lives and therefore our animals' lives. And I'm about to show you a video of a cat that was under a lot of stress. She's in a shelter here, and the people at the shelter actually couldn't handle her without her lashing out. They had to wear thick gloves for her 2 minutes so they wouldn't get scratched. We let her self-select some oils. She chose lavender and balance. My friend, Dr. Sablehouse, or Dr. Sablehouse, I think you're in here somewhere. She's one of the amazing veterinarians at the Austin Humane Society. She's incredible and a wonderfully kind person. She sent me this video and was kind enough to let me share it with you today. It was taken about 20 minutes after they started diffusing.
So this is Dahlia. She is a kitty who's been very fractious here. And I've had the diffuser going in here for about 20 minutes with balance and lavender. And she has calmed down a little bit more, come out of her kennel. She was kind of rubbing on her legs. Let's see if she'll let us pet her. Wow. She's never allowed me to do that to her. What do you think, girl? I've got a little lavender and balance in my hands, too. Mommy. Being very affectionate. You like your oils, kitty?
Dahlia was adopted about a week later. And that, my friends, is why I will never stop talking about the safe yet effective use of doTERRA essential oils with cats when used properly. Okay? Claps, no tomatoes, okay, cool. Who here loves citrus oils? Woo! Me too. Since we're talking about stress, we know that citrus oils can really help with stress and uplift the mood. Did you guys know that veterinarians are actually 3.5 times more likely than the general population to commit suicide? This is a statistic that terrifies me. Veterinarians know about stress. I know about stress. doTERRA's wellness lifestyle, which of course includes citrus oils, has quite literally saved my life more than once. So, when people tell me they are afraid to diffuse citrus oils because of something they read on the internet about it hurting their animals, it makes me really, really sad. It hurts my heart because they're missing out on the amazing benefits of these beautiful oils. Now, I tried really, really hard to find a reason why the internet keeps perpetuating this lie that citrus oils are toxic to animals. And I cannot find a single bit of research to back this up. I did, however, find a really cool article about how the use of a lemon essential oil at 1% dilution in combination with claric sage, rosemary, Roman chamomile at 0.5% in dogs for ear support, that found these oils to be extremely effective, with no adverse reactions, I might add. So, can we please lay this myth of citrus oils being toxic to animals to rest once and for all? What do you guys think? I better not get any text about that. Okay. There are a few oils that we do need to avoid with dogs and cats, however, we covered that last year on the vet panel. But we do have other options, other safer oils that we can use instead, and I do have a few suggestions. So instead of melaleuca, you can use geranium, myrrh, or cedarwood. Be sure you guys take a picture of this slide. And instead of wintergreen or birch, you can use copaiba, frankincense, or aroma touch. Instead of cassia, you can use on guard, oregano, or thyme properly diluted. For cats, instead of peppermint or spearmint, use cardamom or arborvitae. And then keep in mind that when we're using oils topically with small animals like dogs or cats, always dilute your oils to 1 to 5% before application. Remember, the smaller the animal, the more dilution you'll need. With horses, with goats, cattle, large animals, dilution is generally not really needed, although for some sensitive skinned horses, you might need a 5 to 10% dilution for really hot oils like oregano or cinnamon. So, Emily really wanted you to cover how to apply the oils. So, there are a lot of different ways and a lot of different techniques to apply oils with both humans and with animals. The main point I want to get across today is that you just need to get the oils on them. The oils will absorb into the body will know what to do with them. But, because Emily wanted me to, here's some common ways that we can apply oils to an animal. You can apply it along the spine, topically diluted properly. This is probably the most widely accepted application of the oils because animals are used to being either pet along their spine or brushed, in the case of horses. Ear tipping is another common way to apply oils. Of course, this is only if your animal's okay with you touching their ears. If they don't like their ears touched, please don't try to rub oils on them and they'll hate you forever. We want them to have a really positive experience with the oils, okay? So you can also massage the oil into your animal's skin. Most animals love a gentle massage just as much as we do. A hot or cold compress using essential oils can be very effective as well. And directly to the area of interest, if they have a bruise or lump or a bump or a scrape, is another great way, very common way to apply the essential oil. Now this is a photo of a horse that got stung or bit by something. We really aren't sure what, but as you can see, there's a decent amount of swelling here. Her owner applied lavender and copaiba undiluted topically to the swelling, after she texted me. And this is how it looks 24 hours later. So topical application with animals absolutely works. Since we're talking about topical use of oils, remember to use some common sense. Now I realize today that even brilliant clinical oncologists don't always have common sense when it comes to essential oil use. Please don't put a bottle of deep blue all over your dog. Really bad. Just use some common sense. So be sure to dilute the oils like we talked about already, 1 to 5% for small animals. Know your animal's health status. Make sure you work with your veterinarian on this one. Do not use oils topically in their eyes, down into the ear canal, on the nose, or other sensitive areas. Use caution with animals that are pregnant, nursing, or very young or very small. And of course, only use doTERRA oils. I don't think you guys are going to use anything else anyway. Now let's talk about the controversial topic of internal use of essential oils. Oh yes, I'm going. So, can you use essential oils internally with animals? I'm here to tell you that yes, certain oils you can use internally with animals. Again, if you use some freaking common sense. Start with just 1 drop of essential oil or dilute it first. Sometimes you don't have to dilute it, sometimes you do. If you have a really small animal, you might want to start out diluting it. Mix it with some food, put it in a capsule, give it that way. With hot oils like oregano, cinnamon, even on guard, I do recommend using the capsule if you're giving it internally. Now keep in mind that some essential oils are not recommended for ingestion, and those are the same ones we would want to avoid using internally with animals. So, but what about cats? I don't really, has anybody tried to kill a cat? Yeah, it's not very fun. So like putting essential oils in a capsule and trying to give it to a cat. I mean, you can try it if you want, but you probably won't survive. So cats actually ingest oils by normal grooming practices. So a bit more care should be used when you're selecting the oils for topical use with cats, because chances are they're going to get some of that oil internally when they groom themselves. So topical use is usually enough with cats, they'll get it internally, okay? So what oils can we use with animals exactly? We've talked about a couple already, lavender and melons, but we do have time to cover a few more. One of the most common questions I get asked about is how to keep animals healthy as they get older. So my favorite combination of oils for them is copaiba and frankincense internally, and aromatouch topically for sore joints. I can't tell you how many people have told me that this combination has helped their animal that was previously having a hard time getting up, and after just a week of using these oils, they're running around like 2-year-olds again. It's incredible. This is Lucy. Lucy's the best dog in the world. I love her. She loves to run around in the bushes of Texas and kill skunks. Occasionally she gets scraped up. I love to use geranium and myrrh in those cases, and On Guard to boost her immune system. And so that's Lucy. She's the best dog in the world. Now this is Miles. Yeah, he's cute. Don't let that fool you. Miles is not the best dog in the world. Yes, he is. He eats everything, like couches, and an entire bottle of A to Z vitamins, including part of the actual bottle, and remote controls, and other things that are not food related. I honestly think the only thing keeping this dog alive is digestion. I love this oil. Dilute it topically before car rides or anytime you need some extra digestive support for your animals, you know, like Miles does every single day. This is also an amazing oil for all you horse owners out here that know when tummy troubles come, it's really, really not very fun at all. And that's all I can say about that, which is stay compliant. So those are just a few of the oils you can use with your animals. There are many more, which I don't really have time to cover today. So there's the remote control of the digestive. He seems so innocent and cute. Sorry. So there's one more myth that I do want to tackle still, and that's that essential oils can cause liver or kidney damage. Who's heard this one? Yeah, there's a lot of hands. Okay, this senior kitty, she's 18, had elevated kidney levels, not because of essential oil use at all, but she needed a little bit of extra support, which she did get because her owner was working with a regular veterinarian and adjusting her diet and giving fluids. Well, she was getting stiff in her older age, and so her owner decided to add a little bit of diluted oils topically for joint support. She used copaiba and lavender. This cat's kidney levels are now the best they've been in over 2 years. So, in this case, essential oils actually supported the kidneys when they needed it as kind of a side benefit. It was kind of great. So I would like to, for this next part, I have some help. So I would like you to help me welcome my friends, Miss Harley and Miss Jackson Brown, and their human, Audra Robinson, to the stage to tell their amazing story.
Hi, we are so excited to be here with you all today, aren't we, girls? Can I see a downward dog? Where's your downward dog? Oh, good girls, good babies. We have had so many amazing experiences with doTERRA over the past few years. The most powerful was on Valentine's Day last year when I made Candida-friendly muffins which called for xylitol as a sweetener. Come here, girls. Come here. At the time, I did not know how toxic xylitol was and is for dogs. I ran out of the house in a hurry. My friend and I were volunteering at the senior living home that afternoon, and I left the muffins to cool on the counter. So, as you can imagine, when I got home a few hours later, the muffins were gone, and my dogs were lethargic. Jackson Brown could barely stand up. I called poison control, put them in the car, and rushed them to the nearest vet hospital. The doctors ran a series of tests, and 2 doctors came out, sat me down, told me that if I had waited another hour, both of my dogs would have died. And they told me that it was very unlikely Jackson Brown, my little one, would actually make it through the night. The veterinarian said that if Harley made it through the night, she would still have a really rough road ahead of her that week. I got down on my knees and started praying, asking God to just wrap his arms around my girls and to protect them, keep them safe, keep them healthy. And I asked him to give all of the doctors, all of the veterinarians, the wisdom, the knowledge to heal my girls. And one of the amazing humans that Jesus sent to me was Dr. Janet Roark, who you can tell Jackson loves so much.
We're trying to get her to stay calm.
And Dr. Janet gave me a protocol of essential oils and a couple vitamins just to keep the girls calm while they were at the hospital, because it's scary for them in there. And as we got out of the hospital, they obviously survived. Praise Jesus. Yes. When we got out of the hospital, we did a series of vitamins, essential oils. Juniper berry was one of them, Zendercran was another. And 30 days later, we went in for the checkup, and the doctor came out and said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because I have never seen liver counts go back this quickly from xylitol. Yes. We love our oils. I give Harley and Jackson Brown frankincense and copaiba. Where's Dr. Hill? I might be saying copaiba wrong. Every single day. Internally, it goes in their food. And Harley, what's your favorite oil? Can you tell everyone your favorite oil? Huh? Is it Digest Zen? And why is it your favorite? Yeah, Harley likes to eat horse poop when we go on hikes. So she gets Digest Zen on her back, on her belly after that. We love that oil for dogs. And they also get Purify and lavender for bath time. So, doTERRA founders, thank you so much for giving us God's gift of the earth in the form of the most pure and potent essential oils in the world to keep our girls healthy, happy, and terrific. Hey, do you guys need some more lavender? And Dr. Janet, thank you so much for having us up here to share our story today. We love you so much.
As you can tell, they've been backstage a while. We need to go for a run. This is in Colorado. Okay, so thank you, Audra, Harley, and Miss Jackson. So as you can see, essential oils can actually support the liver. But as you just heard from Audra, xylitol is very, very toxic to the liver, even in small amounts with dogs and cats. So we do have some doTERRA products that do contain xylitol, and you'll want to keep these away from your pets at home. Keep them in a safe place so everybody's taking a photo of them. So for my last safety tip, the products that contain xylitol are listed on this slide. Just make sure to keep these in a safe place where your pets can't reach them by accident. That's all I got for today, guys. So I hope and pray that this information helps you feel more confident when using essential oils with